Hey Cowboys Nation! The Dallas Cowboys have kicked off their training camp, but there's one word on everyone's mind: ambiguity. From playoff frustrations to looming contract negotiations, the future is anything but certain. Join us as we dive into the heart of the Cowboys' offseason drama, including Jerry Jones' take on their star-studded roster, Dak Prescott's contract dilemma, and the high stakes for CeeDee Lamb and Micah Parsons. This is the breakdown you can't miss, as we explore whether the Cowboys can turn ambiguity into success this season. The Dallas Cowboys launched their training camp on Thursday with their annual State of the Union news conference, and one word dominated the discussion: ambiguity. Despite entering the offseason with an all-in mindset that didn't materialize, team owner Jerry Jones, COO and co-owner Stephen Jones, and head coach Mike McCarthy addressed a range of issues. The central theme was Dallas's uncertain future, influenced by recent playoff disappointments and several star players either negotiating contracts now or approaching contract negotiations in the next year. The way that, as I sit here today, almost 35 years, you've got to help me with my mathematics here, but almost 35 years, I see several faces that I saw 35 years ago here, Jerry Jones said. But after 35 years, the one thing that's for sure is ambiguity. Just the nature of what being a part of sports and a part of football is very ambiguous. The reality of it is you are continually dealing with much unfinished business. We've had people with contracts that didn't come to camp, so you've got to make that reality. That's what happens. If I can be specific, we've discussed our offseason and how last season ended. But let's look at the facts. We have 14 Pro Bowlers and 12 All-Pros on this field right now. We've got an outstanding team. There's a lot of ambiguity within the team. I encounter ambiguity in everything I do and see. Perhaps the best gift God gave me is a tolerance for ambiguity. That's what we have, and that's what frustrates you. And in frustrating you, obviously it frustrates fans to not have closure or to not have bright lines. That's not in my mind. That's not in my life. So I don't ever anticipate it getting any better with the NFL and the Cowboys. As a matter of fact, since we last met here last year, there's been even more ambiguity thrown on the table. Hello NFL, good to be with you today. Key figures contributing to the Dallas Cowboys' uncertainty include Dak Prescott, who is entering the final year of his contract with both a no-trade and no-tag clause, wide receiver CeeDee Lamb, who is holding out for a new deal, and pass rusher Micah Parsons, who will be eligible for an extension after this season. On Thursday, Prescott expressed his support for his teammates getting paid, while also hoping for a resolution to his own contract situation. Those guys need to get paid and get their money. I've gotten a contract, and so the last thing I'm going to ask them to do is to take less, Prescott told reporters. But this is a two-way street when you're talking about contracts. I've gotten older. I've got a decision in this thing, so it's not just one way here. As I said, it's about my agent and Jerry and those guys getting together and talking. They understand where I am. I understand where they are. From there, that'll get handled. But those young guys damn sure need to get taken care of, and if they get the biggest contracts, I'm a fan of it. Although Lamb might or might not be the first domino to fall due to his absence, Prescott is undoubtedly the biggest. He's quarterbacked the Cowboys to 5 postseason trips in 8 years since arriving, with the only season below 500 occurring when he failed to play double-digit games due to a fractured ankle. Given all that Prescott has done, Jerry Jones made clear his belief and his preference that the soon-to-be 31-year-old keeps a star on his helmet past this year, albeit with the caveat that failing to get what you want sometimes makes you stronger. I don't think so, he said when asked if this could be Prescott's final season with the team. Just to be very specific, I do not think that this will be his last year with the Cowboys at all. It's pretty clear, I think. I wouldn't say it if it hadn't been clear of how much we appreciate what Dak Prescott has meant to this team in a positive way, and that the players do play better when he's out there. He does make his teammates play at a higher level. There's no question about it. So I'm right there in line with his best fan. But believe it or not, in my life, I've had a lot of things I wanted that I couldn't get because I couldn't afford it. Now, Have I learned to live with that in 80-something years? You bet I have. And life does go on. And sometimes when you get a bump like that, you turn around and do better than you would have had you got what you wanted. You'd have never known it had you not had to go get there. Prescott is currently the 13th highest paid QB in terms of his average yearly salary. Whether he signs again with the Cowboys or elsewhere in free agency, he will almost assuredly reside at the very top of the position. Extending Prescott is complicated by the presence of star players around him and the financial burden of having already paid top performers like cornerback Trevon Diggs and offensive lineman Zach Martin last offseason. Lamb is currently dissatisfied with playing on his $17.9 million fifth-year rookie option, while Parsons, who had his $21.3 million fifth-year option picked up for 2025, also seeks a top-tier contract. Both players are aiming for salaries reflective of their position groups, currently $35 million a year for wide receivers and $34 million a year for pass rushers. Thanks for watching.